Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the second episode of Not Mainstream News. Today, we got a bunch of topics to talk about. It's been a lot going on. There's been a lot happening in the world. Let's get caught up over these last 2 weeks. Let's roll.
There have been polls over the years asking Americans about their trust of the mainstream media.
Global mainstream media are facing a trust crisis.
The media have been so relentlessly dishonest.
This House believes that we cannot trust the mainstream media.
The meaning and purpose of life is to inform people, and you're failing.
Not Mainstream News, the podcast. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about when it happened, I guess I set a goal. I'm gonna drop a video every 2 weeks at minimum. I'm a little late right now, but as soon as it happened, I thought of this, and I was just like, So anyway, I guess we'll just show this, and then tell me what you think. I'm gonna just play it.
For generations, this ally to the north has been by your side. Ontario, Canada, a partner connected by shared history, shared values, and a shared vision for what we can achieve together. Stable and secure when the world around us isn't. You can rely on Ontario for energy to power your growing economy and for the critical minerals crucial to new technologies. Ontario is your third largest trading partner and the #1 export destination for 17 states. Our long-standing economic partnership keeps millions of Americans working. In a changing world, it's time to bring jobs back home and build together. More workers, more trade, more prosperity, more security. For generations, this ally to the north has been here. And for generations more, we'll still be here, right by your side.
So in my eyes, I was like, what? Like, wait, let me go to this part. This is the part that got me. Right? Wait, oh, play. Hold on, I gotta pause it. That's what got me, guys. Ontario.ca partner. So, let me stop sharing this now. So for me, the main thing that I was confused by, I was like, how could they even pay for a commercial in our country to promote something that's against the people's will? So, like, they in Canada saying how much we need them in America because they know we about to put those tariffs on them. That was, by the way, that commercial ran during the Super Bowl. So it ran during the Super Bowl, and it was pretty much Canada explaining, like, we are y'all friends. We're not against y'all citizens. We're not against any of you. We help you guys out. We're your biggest partner. We're trading this, that. How could you even run an ad? I didn't even think you could do that, to be honest. Like another country, I guess. I know we do it in other countries, but I didn't know like they would let that happen in our country where like you could meddle in our like politics from another country during a Super Bowl. So in my head, I was like, wow, I would have banned that ad if I'm being honest. I would have been like, no, y'all not about to try to convince our customers or our citizens that y'all doing good when y'all screwing us over politically or in these trade deficits. Like, no, you're not running this commercial. Vetoed. Boom skis. Because I can guarantee you we not running no commercials in Canada. I bet how you say his name? Trudeau, or whatever his name is. I bet he's not letting that go play. Like, no commercials talking about how America pays you and keeps you alive and all this stuff. Don't tell your president to, sign the bill and all this stuff so this doesn't happen. You need to bend to the wheel. So that was just my first take. So that was the first thing that I just really wanted to talk about. I'm like, man, I would have banned that. I would not let that fly because like half of that's not. I mean, I guess they do. I guess they really do provide all these what's the word I'm looking for? Merchandise and goods to us. But it don't matter if you're screwing us over where we're paying all this money and you won't even secure our border or you won't stop all this stuff from affecting us negatively economically. And from my understanding is, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but from my understanding, the way that our trade agreement is 75% Canada benefits, 25% we benefit. And if you want a good agreement, it's either 50-50 or, 40-50, that kind of thing. I'm simplifying it, of course. But yeah, so you don't try to backdoor the president by putting a commercial on to try to like win over support. And what's crazy is, I guess we'll talk about that more later, but I just found that baffling to me, to be honest. That was just baffling. I didn't even think they could let that happen. So that was the first thing I wanted to see, to show y'all. And then we all know what happened after that. So they tried to be nice. This is how I look at it. They tried to be nice. Like, we're your friends. We're here for you. We don't want to do this. Don't let this happen to us. And then when that didn't go their way, they went for plan B. Plan B. So we all know what happened after that. They booed our national anthem during that the hockey, I guess, I don't know the correct terms, tournament or whatever it is. They booed us, the Canadians booed us when they sung our national anthem. And then, like, I think it was, let me see. So 3 fights broke out in 9 seconds. And they lost. But I don't think that was the Canadian team. I think it was the Finland team that lost. But it was just in Canada. But yeah. So you gonna boo us. So you try to be nice. We didn't respond well to that. So you like boo, y'all got suck. Lose. We pass out L's. That's one thing America's good at. We'll pass out an L. If it comes to you embarrassing America, when it comes to like sports and stuff like that, we will give you an L. If it's between America and another country, we will give you an L. Now, when it comes to pulling out of wars and stuff, not so good. We don't know. Leave it. Leave them all. Doesn't matter. Let them die. Leave billions of dollars worth of military equipment and let them fly around while they hang the people that helped us. So that's one thing we're not good at. Withdrawal. Uh, so that was the second thing that I was just like, man, Canada really irking me. They really irking me. So now I see why he said, like, we should make them the 51st state. And Trudeau, you could be the governor. Cause like, boo. Y'all stop playing with America, man. Like, I mean, we benefit from y'all, but stop acting like y'all don't benefit from us. And y'all benefit from us more than y'all want to lead on to believe. Especially y'all economy. Y'all, like you just said, we're our biggest trading partner, just like China. China's our biggest trading partner. Canada's ours. So stop playing with us. The money, y'all work and we pay the money. And I think a lot of people misunderstand what he's trying to do here. So I just want to just briefly talk about these tariffs. So the tariffs, if it goes long term or any term, after maybe like 2 weeks, you'll probably start feeling that in the supply chain. It's gonna suck. But I think what a lot of people have to realize is the mission or the point or the purpose. That's what people are struggling with. They don't want to understand the purpose. Why is he doing this to us? So most people probably know this. America is the greatest empire ever assembled. Like, fortunately, we get to live in this great country. Now, I've been overseas, I've deployed, I've been to multiple countries. I can tell you from the countries that I've been to, by far, this place is way better. Like, I'm just being honest. We got problems, but like compared to other countries, like you could live like first world. I'm talking about even compared to first world countries. I've been to a lot of third world and second world countries. If I don't even know second world exists, but I've been to a lot of third world countries. They have nice things there, but if you even look at their government and how they protect people and policing, like it's way worse. And even if you compare us to first world countries like Germany right now or UK, like you go on Facebook and you say screw such and such, they're gay or something like that, you're going to jail. Like you're literally going to jail. Like in Germany, apparently they be taking people's phones. Like you're banned, no more phone for you. Pass it up. Like America don't. I mean, we're slowly trying to get there if we don't keep the fight up. I guess better. It's not physically, but you get what I'm saying. But pushback. But it's countries like that where they just like. So America is the best and the greatest thing that has ever been created for us as a nation. And I'm not even just saying that because I'm here, but I'm saying that because I'm here too. So when it comes to this, people have to understand we don't assemble anything no more because we found out that we can save instead of paying Tim, who is a unionized worker, $25 an hour. We're gonna move everything to China, pay Ying Mao $1 a day, and get the same product with a little bit less quality control. And I'm gonna pocket everything in the middle that we saved as a company. And that's what's happened. So we can't even produce anything. So what Trump is trying to do is bring back that production back to the United States. And the best example I can give y'all is when we went that people can see is when we went through COVID and we didn't even have hand sanitizer and stuff like that. They were like, we need hand sanitizer. And it was like, well, we essentially we had to wait on China to ship it to us. And well, I'm probably exaggerating on that, but it was things like that. Like I think it was, I don't know the exact percentage, so don't quote me on the percentage, but it's over. I think it's over 70% of our medication is made in China. So our greatest adversary, despite what the government or the politicians are going to tell you, is not Russia. Our greatest adversary is China. But how's our greatest adversary the person we give our most of our money to? That's like you don't like this bully at your school, but every day you feed him, and then he bullies you. And you feed him, and he bullies you. That's what we're doing with China. So what Trump is trying to do is not let us rely so much on these adversarial powers for economic things and things that we can produce. We are the best at innovating, but once we innovate it, we send it other places to build it for us. And that's why always our intellectual power is always getting stolen. Like when I'm saying intellectual, I'm talking about like software or things that we design. It always gets stolen because you have all these third party entities building these things. And it's crazy because it's not even it's like it's worse than you think because something like, let's just say you want to build a car. Let's do something even smaller. Let's say you want to build a computer. You would be like, well, we're going to build a computer in America. Yeah, but what happens is you still wind up buying the screen from China. You buy the chips from Taiwan. And then you buy the lithium from China or Congo or whoever, however that works. And then you just build it here. But technically, you didn't really build it. You just assembled it here. You still pay all those other entities to give you that product. So you still gave them a stream of revenue. And I guess what Trump is trying to do is get away from that, where we starting to build our own things, build all these things in America that provides job stability, especially in places like that was really heavily affected by the auto industry. Most of the cars that we, like, I never understand this, but majority of the cars that we drive that are American cars, Dodge, Ford, Jeep, Ram, all that stuff, they're not even, majority of it is not even assembled in America, or made in America. It's not even assembled and or made in America. So you got a Ford car being made in not New Mexico, but Mexico. You got a Dodge car being made in Canada. So the main industry in those places like Detroit, Flint, Michigan, and all those kind of places was the auto industry. The auto industry left. They said, screw you guys. We're not paying y'all retirements. We're not paying y'all for 30 years. Y'all not getting no more of this disability. Y'all not, they pulled all their industries out, went overseas to places like Canada and Mexico, pay those people a little bit less. They don't let them unionize. They don't give them healthcare benefits. And then the people in Detroit, where that was their main stream to main employment there. So you lost that whole industry, and now all those people are either poor, on drugs, can't find sustainable living. They just collapsed that whole industry, which collapsed all the citizens there, because despite what you want to believe, jobs are the backbone of America. Working people are the backbone of America. When you have the working people not working, America does not work. COVID, nobody worked, and the country fell apart essentially. And they had a hard time getting people to go back to work after that. The backbone of America is the working class. Do not let nobody tell you anything otherwise. Just like in the Marines, they have a saying. The Marines, they say, when we go through our ranks, E1, E2, E3, they always say E5. Why do they say E5? E5 is the backbone of the Marine Corps. Why do they say that? Because E5 is you're smart enough, You're smart enough to work. You're smart enough to think for yourself. You're leading, you're guiding. So everything essentially trickles down in some way, shape, or form, whether it's in leadership or the guidance role, to E5. So they're the backbones. They're the ones that put in what they say, turf the ground or whatever it is, tire the ground. They're the ones that getting stuff done. That's the working class. The working class of America is E5. They're the backbone of this country. And they trying to convince you it's the software designers and it's the Fortune 5. No, I'm telling you, it's the working class is the backbone of this country. We pay the most taxes. We pay the most into all these benefits and programs. And if you lose that, like if the working class stopped paying taxes, America would collapse. Because the rich people don't pay the same. They pay taxes, but they don't pay like how we pay. And they get all these write-offs and deductions and all this stuff because they're paying the working class, I guess. So, but that's a different argument. But the working class is the backbone. So he's trying to bring all these industries back here so the working class can be strong and proud again. They diminished the working class over the last, I probably say over 30 years. COVID made it even worse because what they did was the strong working class, the high end middle class people, they desolated those people. And I'm talking about these are the people that's working that has higher end jobs, not just construction workers. I'm talking about like the higher echelon of wage and jobs and i.e. entrepreneurs, business owners that are making more than 50, 60K that's actually providing jobs. They killed all that industries. Those small businesses that's maybe grossing 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 a year, but they have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 workers, restaurants, all those industries, they killed all that, money grabbed and pushed that back up to the upper class. So there's no real the working class is really just getting depleted each year more and more. More and more we keep getting pushed more down in the brackets. And you can't it's like a system that you can't dig yourself out of. You keep losing. So he's trying to bring that back to make a strong working class because the strong working class are the people that runs this. We don't run the country, but we're the backbone to this country. Once he gets those people, we're the ones spending into the economy. We're the ones paying all the taxes. We're the ones that keeps the economy sustained. Poor people don't buy a lot of things because they're poor. Middle class people are the ones that's buying houses, keep paying property taxes, paying state taxes, federal taxes, local taxes. That's the middle class. Once again, rich people pay these things too, but it's just different. It's just different, and they're not doing a service per se. So he's trying to bring that back because once you bring that back, then the country could sustain on its own. We can't go to war with a country or empire like China, but still need them to build our stuff. They even saying when we was going through the war with Ukraine, the proxy war, we were taking missiles from Israel to give to Ukraine because we didn't have enough. We depleted our surplus and we couldn't manufacture it enough because why? We needed China. We might have the fuel for the missile, but we don't have the chips. So we got to get the chips from Taiwan. Then we got to get the GPS system from China, and then the other satellite link from China. And then we got it. So we always it's coming back to the people we don't want all this money to go to. So that's what Trump's trying to get rid of. So unfortunately, it has to suck before it gets better because you got to bring these people to the table. You got to let them feel pain. And once they start understanding how much who needs who and who needs what, then you can start making what should I say, more faith-based deals, like deals that's not just like screw you guys, y'all need us. When both parties understand they need each other, then y'all make better deals, more middle ground deals where one party's just not getting stuck or screwed over. They're both either you both getting screwed over or you both feel like you win. That's how the best negotiations work. When you buy a car, you want to feel like you haggled down the price, and then the person selling the car wants to feel like he didn't go too low below his price that he wanted to sell for in his mind. So when both parties feel like they got what they want out of the deal, everybody walks away happy. But when one party feels like you screwed me, that's always in their mind, and that it leaves a nasty taste. And then you try to renegotiate deals and stuff like that. So that's what he's trying to do. But I think people don't understand that, and it doesn't help that the Democrat Party just seems to paint him as Satan no matter what he does. Like anything he does, they just like it's evil. They find a way to say how it's screwing people over. I won't lie, it does suck. because one of the things we did vote for him to do was to balance out this economy and take care of inflation, get inflation down. But I understand how economics work and the state of what the United States is in financially. Like, we're the reserve currency of the world, but right now, even our currency is looking like, I don't know. It's a lot of what's the word I'm trying to think of? It's a lot of up and down. So when you start looking at a currency and it's up and down, it's not tried and true. People start, like the stock market. When the stock market starts going up and down, more people pull out their money because it's not I'm trying to think of the word, but it's not stable. Yeah. So when it's not stable, when something is not stable, it creates instability. And when it creates instability, people start making rash decisions, pulling out money. That's what happened in the recession in 2000, whatever it was. A couple bad things happened. Everybody started trying to get all their money. Then the bank systems crashed. And that's what he's trying to prevent. But that's what's going on more. Instead of on a country scale, it's going on a global scale. So he's trying to, that's why he has the Elon Musk things going on, where we got to stop all this crazy spending that doesn't make any sense, doesn't better the country, put America first. And once we start doing that, hone in on what we need to be spending money on and stop what we don't need to be spending money on. Put that money towards our national debt and start paying that down. And once you start paying that down, hopefully people start buying bonds that's not from our country. You need other countries to buy the bonds. You can't insure your debt with people that's already in debt. That's essentially what's going on. Businesses are buying the bonds, but you're in debt technically because you're in America. So we're buying debt. Americans that are already in debt is buying debt from America. You need other countries to buy our debt. We pay them back with the interest, and that's how you build a better relationship. So it's kind of like you stacking the scale. If you got American companies buying debt from debt, it's a hard story to explain, but that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to for sure get the dollar more stable again. And unfortunately, when you're going through a business, like say for instance your business expanded too fast. A good example, I'm in Clarksville, Tennessee. It was this company called Del Taco, I want to say, or Taco John. I think it's Taco John. Taco John came here like 2 years ago, like randomly. They're like, we'll build it in one Taco John. So they built it. It did really well because in Clarksville, if something new comes here, people going crazy for it. Be a line wrapped around the building, blah, 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 blah. So it did really well. So it was like, after they saw that, they was like, we're building 4 or 5. That was like 2 years ago. Guess how many are open at this point? None. I don't think it's one even open right now. Because they expanded too fast. They stretched their arms too fast. And they don't have enough resources or, i.e. customers, to continue with that operation. So what Trump's doing now is he's saying, we got too many offices open. We need to close some of the offices that are not important and only focus on the ones that are important. That's what Doge is doing. And I can speak on this because I work for the government and I've worked in multiple fields in the government. You have a person that does the job of the person that does the job that does the person of that does the job. It'll be like 3 people doing the same job, but they just pass the job to the next person and they don't actually have a job, but passing it to the next person when you could have done that job. I know this for a fact. Everybody knows the joke about there are 4 government workers standing around while one guy's working and the other guy with the clipboard. Why do you think that came up? Because it's true. Maybe just not in every instance, but it'll be a job that takes 1 or 2 people, but 10 people will do it because they're getting paid and the government's paying them. But they got to pretend to do something. So 10 people show up to do a 2-person job and only 2 people work. And the other 8 people get paid the same exact or more. In the government, it'll be the 2 people doing the most work get paid the least out of the 8 people standing around. They all get paid more than the 2 people working. And that's what they're going through and figuring out. Part of what they're going through and figuring out. They're shrinking the size of the government. When you shrink the government, less spending, less workers. Unfortunately, it's real people's lives that we're dealing with. And that sucks because people need jobs to pay for their bills and stuff like that. But none of that matters if you don't have a country. If the country goes bankrupt, it doesn't matter that you had a job because now your house, technically you don't own your house anymore. Another country owns your house now. So that's what they're trying to do before it gets real bad. And I think like the Democrats just find a way to like articulate it to make it resonate as hate. or something because of the hatred that they have for this man. I'm telling you, he's doing a lot to help the country. He's doing a lot. So, yeah, we done talked about the Super Bowl. We done talked about the tariffs, the hockey tournament. Oh, and another thing that I found out, if you really just talk and listen to people, and even if, on a lot of social media, majority of the normal citizens or people in this country agree with Trump. It blows me how, like, if you watch some of these news channels, I won't say names, they'll spin it to like, all the people here don't want this, and he's just forcing this on us. Meanwhile, like, everybody was saying, like, we need to stop spending this much. Anybody that got any common sense that likes this, that loves their country knows we was just doing stupid stuff. Especially when you start seeing how much money we were spending on what we were spending on. I think I was read they spent 120 million on transgender studies of animals. And then they broke down, like, what were you doing in the test? And they're like, oh, yeah, they would mutilate some of the mice and stuff and see how they react. And it's just like, 120 million for that? And then they was talking about how, like, they was backdooring, like, giving people bribes, but they wouldn't give you the actual bribe. Like, you'll be a contractor for the government, and they'll let you charge them $100 or $10,000 for a wrench. That's $1,000, and the $9,000 go to you. That's how they get away with it. They don't just necessarily, like, write you out the check, go spend it, Tom. No, they'll say, all right, here's $50,000 for something that costs $2,000. And they write the check to your company. That's how they get away. But a lot of majority of Americans are just like, we're fed up. They fed up with this Biden stuff. They fed up with all this transgender stuff. They're just fed up. They're tired. They're exhausted. They just want to live normal lives, come home to actually have money in their pockets, be able to go on vacations, be able to walk around without seeing crazy stuff, safe environments without their cars being broken into. And they don't want to be giving thousands of dollars to immigrants that aren't even citizens. I was watching the CNN interview, and the guy was like, one of the CNN panelists, he said, I should have pulled up that video. He said, we shouldn't be trying to give back the $5,000 to the citizens. We need to send that all to the debt. And I just think that's crazy to steal money from somebody, or take money and do something that you wasn't supposed to do with it, and then tell me you shouldn't give it back. You shouldn't have to give it back. You should be able to pay it to the debt. Well, you want to say that guy was a Democrat, of course. Well, the Democrats weren't saying that when they was giving $5,000 to immigrants that are not even citizens. They was giving them free money. Anytime it's time for the working class to get some money, no, we need to pay your debt back. Why weren't you paying the debt back when them immigrants was crossing the border? Why weren't you doing it then? Why was they getting food stamps and you was trying to take money out of the VA to help fund that? Why was you doing that? That's cool though. So no, I'd rather you give me my money. Thank you. Thank you. I prefer cash because the IRS ain't going. So anyway, I just thought that was a crazy take, but that's just how they move. Sometimes they just don't even know what they do. It don't even make sense. So I genuinely don't know why they hate this man so much. Here's another thing that I wanted to show y'all. Let's pull up this. Everybody's been talking about it lately. Everybody's been talking about it.
Doing on the deal. That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world. And I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
I would respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace And the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied it.
So, let me stop sharing this. So, the first thing that I want to touch on, I just don't get why people hate this. This has been the most transparent president we have ever had in our generation. Just let that sink in. He has a press briefing every day in his office. This is the most transparent we have ever seen a politician be. And they still hate him. You would have never even, if that was Obama, you would have never even seen that meeting. You would have not known it existed till they walked out, they shook hands, and they would have told you what the meeting was about. You would have never known. So I wanted to start off by saying that this has been the most transparent president that we have ever have. Okay, 2. I think, and JD Vance speaks very well. I like how he talks. He talks very well. He's smart, and he makes sense when he speaks. Trump needs to, I feel like this is just, I'm just being honest. Trump needs to work on how he talks. I always said this about him. Sometimes he talks like a child sometimes. I can be very, very mean. I can be the meanest person you ever seen. Like, why would you talk like that? It's just, anyway, that's probably like one of the things that I wish he worked on and sharpened up. But you still got to listen to his point, because a lot of times the point that he's making is true. But I think the plan with that whole meeting, what Zelensky was doing, I found out a lot of more information about it after it happened. But he was supposed to be signing the minerals deal to essentially give us, I think it was 50% of their profits from their mines, like their mineral mines, and pay us back 50% until he paid us back all the money we lent him. He was supposed to sign this deal, I guess. Don't quote me on a time frame. Let's just say 2-3 weeks ago, once, with the Secretary of Defense, I believe. He didn't sign it then. Then JD went and talked to him with the Secretary of Defense, and he didn't sign it then. So he was supposed to fly in here today, not today, that day of the meeting, and sign that deal. But instead, he started talking about all this other stuff that didn't have anything to do with it. And I think the point that Zelensky was trying to do was, because he knew it was going to be televised, was back Trump into a corner and try to do kind of a similar tactic of what Canada's doing during that Super Bowl commercial. Put this information out there in front of us citizens and hope that we turn on Trump. And that's what Canada's trying to do. They're putting all this information out to say, we're with you and blah, 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 and hope to turn on, so we turn on Trump, our leader, or our president, put it that way. So I think he tried to do that, and I think majority of the people, especially he probably could have got away with that for sure with Biden, because Biden can't speak in general. And he's pro-war anyway, so it wouldn't matter. But he can't get away with that, especially with JD Vance being there. He's so articulate. He knows how to articulate what he's trying to say very well. And he speaks from, you can tell when he speaks from not like a politician's way. You can sense of his working class way that he talks, and logic. He's like very working class, middle class, logic based, where you can say like Trump makes a lot of sense, but you can still tell he speaks sometimes from a more rich perspective. But JD, you can understand him as an average person. And you can see his perspective from an average person's perspective. And it aligns very well with normal people in America. And I think if you just look around after the meeting, most people are just like, screw this. I'm tired of paying, because you got to realize we paying for somebody else war to defend their country. They come here and they're like, y'all need to do more for us. And it's like, we're not even living and doing great here. And you keep telling us we need to do more. So I think it helped open more people's eyes to see like, this isn't the path that we want to go down. And I don't think Zelensky even understands like what he's doing at this point. Like, I hate to break it to you. I'm not pro Russia and I'm not pro Ukraine. I'm more in the middle. I can see both perspectives. And I know more so why the war started. And really, if I'm being honest, it's not Ukraine's fault. It's not Russia's fault. It's really United States' fault because we pushed this war and then we act like victims. Russia just don't want no missiles and NATO in a bordering country, which I can understand because we wouldn't let no missiles or a Russian-backed military be in Cuba, i.e. Cuban Missile Crisis. We wouldn't let a Russian or Chinese-backed military be in Mexico. That would be a red flag. And Putin's been saying that's been his red flag, his red line for like years. And they keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it because I don't think they thought he would invade, to be honest, but he did. So it's really not their fault, but Ukraine is just like the middleman that's getting screwed the hardest. But at the same time, I think Zelensky doesn't understand you can't win. Just you can't win. It doesn't even matter if we keep funding you. You can't win just off of personnel. Like Russia has millions of people, and Ukraine, they at the point where I think they raised their draft to like 40 and below now because it's just running out of men. You can only support that so long. It doesn't matter how much money you got or machinery. You still only could support it for so long. So I think that's what the phase that they're starting to go through. And Zelensky don't see the writing on the wall. And I think another thing that probably done pissed Zelensky off is he got a lot of hopes, promises, and dreams from the last administration saying what they're going to do and how we going to do this and we're going to keep doing this. And then you got a new administration in here. And they're on the total opposite spectrum. No, I'm sorry, we're not doing that anymore. And the money that we did give you, the money that we said we were going to give you that we haven't dispersed yet, we're going to put that on hold until you show us all the money else, where all the other money went. So I think he thought that he was going to run into this administration. They were going to keep the well going, and they haven't, and it's done pissed him off. So I think that's what's going on with that. But I hope he finds. I don't know per se how he's going to do this and what he's going to do for them to get peace talks with that. But a lot of people said that Israel and Hamas wouldn't come to a deal, and they done came to a deal. And I think that happened like the first week Trump was in, or maybe slightly before he got in. But he works wonders sometimes, and it surprises me as well. But you can't. The proof is in the pudding. So I'm interested to see how this develops. I would like for them to end that war. I really would, because a lot of people that I think it's a saying that they always say, rich people stay rich while the poor people fight their wars and die. And it's a factual statement. If you just look at most of the people in the military, they're not poor, but they're like middle class workers or normal people just trying to, make ends meet and do things for their country. And they wind up dying over things that doesn't make our country better. As of recently, doesn't make our country better. And sometimes it's just like financial grabs, or it's just a chess game that you play with people's lives. And I think Trump is starting to understand we just get into wars to get into wars. Sometimes they don't even better the country. Sometimes we get into wars to better other countries. Israel. But that's not here or there. That'll be another episode. So I guess those are some of the main things that's been going on in the news world right now. And they got mad at Zelensky. They were saying that he should have wore a suit. I don't really nitpick on that. I mean, wear what you wear, I guess. But he came there to talk about some other stuff. He wasn't signing no deals. So we'll see what happens with that. Sorry, had to mute myself. But I think the tariffs the economy is going to play a major factor in not re-elections but midterms. If the economy is doing really well and Trump keeps up this pace of delivering all the things he said he was going to do during his when he was running for president, it's going to be hard for Democrats to replace the Senate and the House. But if the economy's doing bad and he slows down with what he's doing now and stop being as transparent and keeping up what he's doing, they probably America likes to switch sides, so they might take over the House and Senate, or House or Senate, or both, and then it's gonna be really really hard for him to get anything done. So I hope he gets this economy figured out fairly soon, because that would do a lot for like the normal people that voted for him, like people like me who just wanted more sensible, logical things and the economy to do better, so I can do better. It's trickle down. So if he gets that figured out quickly, fairly quickly, that'll be a great first steps in his first 6 months. If he can do that within 6 months, that'd be great. Immigration, he already slowed that down a lot. I think this is the least amount of people that crossed the border since 2012. I think it said. I don't know. I gotta start writing down the numbers. I'm bad with numbers. I can't remember the actual numbers. But since I think it's pre-Obama, so before Obama, it's the lowest people that actually been trying to cross. And I think because he got the Mexican National Guard is at the border, and we got our National Guard at the border and Border Patrol, and they're starting to do mass deportations and stuff. So, yeah, that's been the news cycle lately. So this is not mainstream news, and I'm Sway. I'm out.